Hey guys, this is that man, that is my merchandise, and you know what? Starting manga can be quite a daunting task. Some of us as beginners, some of us still are. And sometimes buying the first manga can put you down the wrong path. You could buy something that completely puts you off the genre altogether. I should know, I bought Boruto. But don't worry guys, I've got your back. And I'm going to look at 10 great titles for any beginner or starter who wants to get into buying and collecting manga. I'm not going to say, oh, just buy Shonen Jump titles. This is going to be a little bit of a different list for yous. Okay guys, I'm not going to lie, Shonen Jump is an absolute fantastic source for beginners with most of the popular titles such as One Piece, My Hero Academia, Naruto and of course everyone's favourite, Gravity Boys. And I could easily fill a video on Shonen Jump titles alone. Maybe I will, but for the sake of fairness, I'm going to exclude those titles from this video. I know guys, I know you really wanted me to recommend you Union the Haunted Hot Springs. When I made this list, I did want to make sure that two things were factored in. One, they're legally available and you can get them pretty easily. And two, they're all different. A lot of these lists I see, they're just seeing. So I'm trying to give you a bit of a list of different stuff for different people. Because hey, everybody is different. That's not the words to the song I'm thinking of. Let's do it! Number 1. Many games have stood the test of time. Pokemon is one of them. You can't go anywhere without seeing those little critters pretty much everywhere. And that is why Pokemon Adventures is an absolute fantastic starter manga. Almost anybody can get into this one. And you know what? It gives you a lot of nice nostalgia. This is the story of Trainer Red, in which he goes on an epic quest to catch them all, with all of the Pokemon and all of the fun adventures. And you know what? Team Rocket might be there. It's based on the first games, Team Rocket are there. And you know what I loved about this is that it takes a unique spin on the games that we know and love. Pokemon Adventures is one of those titles that almost anybody can get into. If you like Pokemon. If you don't like Pokemon, you're probably not going to have a fun time. But a lot of people who like anime, a lot of people who like manga do seem to enjoy Pokemon. At least they used to. Back before the dark days of Sword and Shield. 2. You know that other series? You know, not Pokemon. That one about the giant robots. That iconic one about giant robots. Gundam. Which is why I'm recommending the absolutely fantastic Gundam the Origin. This is the origin story of Gundam. As you can probably imagine, it says that on the tin. And it comes in a beautiful hardback. Now there are quite a few volumes and they are quite expensive. But if you want to get the update on the Universal Century War, Shah Aznable, Amaru, it's a Gundam! You're probably safe with this one. The artwork is absolutely sublime and it really makes all of the characters in Gundam stand out. Now I feel like this is slightly easier to get into the series than the actual anime is. As much as I love the original Mobile Suit Gundam series, it has aged not great. For newcomers into the business, for newcomers into the manga industry, this one I feel is far more easier to get into than the Gundam original series. And you know what? You can pick a far worse Gundam. You certainly can. There's some pretty bad Gundam series out there, unfortunately. But I would personally recommend Mobile Suit Gundam the Origin if you want to get into Gundam and you want a great story to go with it. 3. Now guys, I know what you're asking for. I know. I understand. You guys are into that too. And I know what you're saying. Where are the monster waifu? Monster Musume is an absolute interesting series, and I'm choosing this as a beginner manga because you know what? There are a lot of people who genuinely like ecchi, and if you're going to get into ecchi, you might as well start off with one that is pretty decent. Monster Musume is one of those titles that pretty much everybody knows about, and everybody just is quite hushed about it. It's interesting. If you want a series about beautiful girls who are also monsters, this one's a good one to start off with. Not only is it a good introduction to the ecchi genre, it's also a good introduction to the monster girl genre. A genre that, you know what, 7Cs are pretty much just releasing most of these, or LGBT stuff. Yeah, it's pretty much sustaining an entire portion of the industry. You know what? This was actually on the New York Times bestseller list, so you know it's good. Just like My Hero Academia was. Both of them, absolute fantastic manga. Now if you want to get into ecchi and you don't want to get the monster girls, why not check out Prison School? This one is another one that is, yeah, it's over the top, it's ridiculous, it's got titties all over the place, but you're also going to get a fun time out of it. It's rather deep and it's interesting in the way other series just quite aren't. I actually did a full, complete history on it if you want to check it out. 4. We've covered Monster Musume, but how about a harem that doesn't really focus on the ecchi? Hey, it isn't so! Yeah, Quintessential Quintuplets. It exists. When I first started Quintessential Quintuplets, I wasn't sure of how it was going to work out. I was just like, an ecchi series that doesn't really have much ecchi and has tons of harem stuff? How does that work? This is unconventional. But you know what? It genuinely did. All of the characters are genuine best girls. And you know what? You're going to have a lot of fun arguments over who is best girl. Who is best girl out of the best girl. You know what? Quintessential Quintuplets isn't just about a harem. It isn't just about an ecchi. It's got that usual promised girl kind of thing that we've seen in a lot of other series, such as Love Hina. But it's also managing to do a lot of interesting stuff for studies. It's got a lot of interesting things that's coming out of it. And do you know what? I feel like if you were kind of wanting to get into a romance, or if you're wanting to get into an ecchi, or if you want to get into a harem, you can't go much wrong with this one. While the ecchi is quite light, the harem and the romance aspect really manages to hit it off. In fact, it's so harem-y, it's not even a harem at all. He's not really kind of going, oh, I want this girl. He's just kind of going, well, I just want to make you learn and study. Yeah, it's an educational one. Ah. 5. Have you ever wanted to escape to the country, relax and just take in the scenery, eat some nice food, but the weather outside, it's pretty poor? Laid Back Camp is for you! A few people already are aware of how much I love Laid Back Camp. This is a title that at first I was just like, oh, it's going to be boring, it's about camping, it's going to be just rainy days and drunk chavs, and there's none of that in here. Well, there is a drunk girl, but this is about the beauty of nature. It's so relaxing, it's so chill, it's so laid back. But what the series does that no other series seems to manage to pull off is it really manages to just show how beautiful the world around you is. Other series may have better artwork, but this one really manages to capture the beauty of nature. It says, stop your day-to-day life, stop, take in the sights, smell the flowers, and just enjoy it. It's really beautiful, and honestly, I love it. I love the characters. The characters are all incredibly fun, and I really like how just relaxing it is, especially when you've had a really crap day at work. It's so beautiful to be able to just pick this one up and just go, ah, camping. 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 6. While Laid Back Camp did cover the cooking aspect, it's a little bit more of a nice relaxing thing. Golden Kamuy, on the other hand, this is pretty much everything. It's a camping series, it's an adventure series, it's a series about, well, Barramen, it's a romance series, it's a battle shonen, well, battle seinen. It's kind of a little bit of everything, but it does everything extremely well. It's a treasure hunt with a massive cast of characters, all of them incredibly likeable, in which they have to skin convicts in order to find the map that leads them to One Piece. Kamuy gets away with a lot of things, and you know what? Out of all of the seinen titles, this is the one that I would easily say is best for newcomers. Now, a lot of people would say, oh, try Berserk. And as great as Berserk is, I'm genuinely of the opinion that Berserk is never actually going to end. Golden Kamuy, it feels like it is going to end. The ride is something that's also fantastic, and you know what, you're going to learn a lot about the Ainu culture and even just general survival skills. After reading this, I know I can survive in the woods. Don't go in the woods, guys, there's bad stuff in there, bad stuff. I saw some testicles. 7. We spoke about cooking and camping. We spoke about survival skills. But where does some of this food come from? And the answer is from a farm. That's right. I never would have guessed I would have enjoyed Silver Spoon. But honestly, I did. I really did. Personally, I actually enjoy this more than Full Metal Alchemist, made by the same creator. And that's why this is in my choices rather than Full Metal Alchemist. As great as Full Metal Alchemist is, I kind of read Full Metal Alchemist and I was just kind of like, yeah, that was great. Don't really need to read it again. I genuinely will read Silver Spoon again. And there's a lot of hard-hitting questions about this. For example, it asks the question of where does food come from? Is this a safe working environment? Are the animals kept well? And it shows a little bit more respect to the animals, the food products that you are eating, than pretty much everything else does. In fact, it actually changed my opinion on a lot of foodstuffs. It's that good.
Number 8.
Right guys, alright, I know, you know, we all know that it was coming. It's time to once again talk about Yotsuba. Yotsuba is the perfect beginner manga because, well, it's an all ages manga. You can give this to your young child and they're probably going to enjoy it. But the beauty of Yotsuba comes from reading back on it as an adult. Why is that? Because this is a nostalgic trip through the eyes of a child. Can you remember when you were a child and you just thought everything was exciting? You were just like, oh, we're going to the beach. I can't wait to go to the beach. These days you go and you're just like, oh, it's cold. But when you were a child, you really enjoyed it. You really enjoyed that whole adventure aspect. Everything daily was just an adventure. Even the small things here and there. Even just going shopping or finding your favourite toy. That was a beautiful adventure that we're no longer going to experience the joys of. But you can with Yotsuba. Absolutely beautifully drawn, and I guarantee will put a smile on your face when you're reading it. Yotsuba is just the kind of embodiment of enjoy everything. Today is always the best day. And there's a lot of great lessons that you can learn from this. For example, just have a positive outlook on life. Always a fantastic read. One that I would always recommend. But because we all knew it was coming, I can't put it any higher.
9. Can you remember when you were inspired by something so much that you wanted a change of career? To something far more amazing that you could even think?
Brothers is an interesting title because rather than being a massive shonen battle protagonist, Space Brothers takes time to just go, yeah, if you work hard, you could be this. And one of the things I absolutely love about manga, one of the things I absolutely love about the medium is how inspiring it can be. Space Brothers taught me to never give up on my dreams. That's the story of two young brothers when they were younger. They aspired to be astronauts. And many years later, one of them actually has reached that dream, while the other, well, he's just wasting his life away in a car dealership. However, after headbutting the manager, Mutter, he decides, I'm going to try and change things. I'm going to try and change a lot of what I'm doing. And he decides he's going to become an astronaut and catch up with his famous astronaut younger brother. One of the things that Space Brothers really delivers on is how accurate and realistic the whole of the genre is. It takes some liberties with the content it's providing. All of it you can imagine it being incredibly real. It really goes in depth on the astronauts training, and you know what, I've never seen anything else quite like it. It's many volumes before we actually get the characters to even go into space. A lot of it is training, whereas most series just have, oh, it's a training arc, we'll do that off screen. This one doesn't, but it's all the more better for it. It's incredibly in-depth and the artwork is absolutely perfect. And it's one that I would really recommend everybody pick up. While it's digital only, that's not an excuse. It's an absolute fantastic title that I feel like everybody needs to pick up at some point.
10.
Guys, do you want some sports? That's right, sports in book form. Sports? That's right. There's a lot of great sports titles out there. However, there's one that, quite frankly, I still feel is above the rest. Well, except for Slam Dunk, but that's been out of print for a long time. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. I said no Shonen Jump titles. However, this isn't on the Shonen Jump app. Plus, it's worth talking about. It's one that is worth Eyeshield 21 is an American football manga that I absolutely know nothing about. But you know what? That didn't stop it. The amount of characters, the amount of ridiculous scenarios, the amount of absolute, genuine, heartfelt, fantastic scenes in this really makes it worth it. Mastermind behind Dr. Stone and the artist of One Punch Man. This is an absolutely terrific coming of age tale. Wimpy boy Sena, he runs away from everything. He's always been scared of getting hurt. However, he soon finds his legs are going to take him places as he is scouted for the American football team. The quarterback is literally the devil himself, or bullies. And honestly, there's so much about this series that just works. There's a lot of incredibly tense moments, and it makes the American football game that much more interesting. I've never been that interested in sports, but wow, this got me into sports. And you know what? You can go a lot worse than Eyeshield 21. While there are a lot of great sports manga out there, Slam Dunk, Keijo, Haikyuu, there's nothing really that's captured me more than Eyeshield 21. And for me, I would absolutely recommend it to everybody. Or Vinland Saga. Go buy Vinland Saga.